And today I'm going to be leading you guys through a free beginner yoga session that is going to really help ease the mind and move the body. The more we focus on different poses and getting our feet from point A to point B and focus on our breath, the more we're able to be in the present moment, which is the ultimate goal. With this crazy world we live in, so many things we have to do, so many things we have to get planned, and it's really essential to really tune into ourselves and give time for ourselves. So let's get started. It's going to be a nice 30-minute session. It's been very, very hot outside, so make sure you have some water handy and a yoga mat or some kind of flat surface to help make you stick. And always remember, anytime we're on our hands, always spread your fingers out wide and slightly grip those fingertips to avoid any stress in the wrist. So here we go. Let's start in child's pose. Let's come down to our hands and our knees, bringing our big toes together to touch. Separate your knees out wide, sit your tush down on the tops of your heels, and extend your arms out in front of you, palms facing down with your head on the mat. And I will just show you the beginning of the poses. This way I can cue you with my voice. So you'll all be in child's pose. Gently close your eyes. And start to regulate your breath. Just paying attention to the sound and the rhythm of your own natural breath. Inhales and exhales through the nose. Relax your muscles down into the earth. Relax any tension in your face. And breathe into any areas that you feel tension, whether it's your hips, your neck, your shoulders. And with each exhale, soften down a little bit more, letting your muscles relax even deeper. Take this time to make a dedication or an intention for your practice to help better serve your practice, helping you get point A to point B, and keeping yourself in the present moment, whether it's a person, place, or thing, or value or saying. Nothing but positivity as you breathe in, and letting go of any negative thoughts that don't serve you. And when your mind starts to wander, really try and redirect your thoughts to you and your mat and your breath, as well as those dedications and intentions. Ujjayi breaths for the rest of the class today, which is inhales and exhales through the nose, or the breath of fire, or the victory breath. Serves to build heat in the body, helps us really get through different poses. And we will accompany them with cleansing breaths here and there when we need to release that heat and need to slow down our breath a little bit more or catch our breath. But we should always be mindful with every movement and every breath, connecting one with the other. Take a deep inhale here. And on an exhale, walk your hands over to the right off the mat, placing your left hand gently on top of your right hand, applying gentle pressure, keeping your shoulders down and away from the ears, and feeling the stretch on the left side body from your fingertips all the way to your left hip flexor. With each inhale, lengthen up and out of the waist. Every exhale, relaxing your muscles into the mat, falling deeper with your glutes coming down onto the tops of your heels. Inhale. And exhale, walk your hands back to center. And when you're ready to go to the other side, take an inhale first here in center. Then exhale, walk your hands over to the left side of the mat, stacking your right hand over your left hand, and applying gentle pressure to feel the openness of the right side body from the right fingertips all the way down to your right hip flexor. Keeping your forehead down on the mat and aiming to keep those glutes on the tops of the heels. Walk your hands back to center. And come up to your first tabletop. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists, hips right over the knees, finding a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine. Spread your fingers out wide and slightly grip the fingertips and press into the mat so that you puff up your spaces in between your shoulder blade to protract the shoulders, as if you're about to be in cat position by pressing into the earth so that we're in proper alignment. Let's go through some cows and cats. Inhale, open your chest to the front of the room, reach your tailbone up to the sky, your eye gaze straight ahead, shoulders down and away from the ears. Exhale, press into the earth, round the spine, bring your chin to your chest and your eye gaze at your navel, reaching your tailbone down to the earth. Inhale, cow, open your heart space, center, reach your tailbone to the sky and lower your belly. Exhale, cat, really round the spine, tuck the belly in, relax your head and neck. And go at your own breath's pace, connecting each inhale with cow and each exhale with cat. Going as fast or as slow as you need. Slow and mindful movements. Opening the front side body with cow on the exhale. Opening the back side body. Go ahead and bring in some organic movement. Rock your head side to side. Neck rolls. Rocking your hips down and up. Working out the hips. Or even working the obliques. Bringing your left shoulder to your left hip, making a curve. And vice versa. Right shoulder to right hip. And you'll be shaped like a C. Work out any places that you need a little bit extra love. Place your left hand in the middle of the mat, right in line with your heart. And on an inhale, reach your right hand all the way up to the sky, peeling open to the right. Eye gaze at your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen your crown to the room in front of you. And exhale, twist a little deeper with your eye gaze more into your thumb. And on an exhale, thread the needle, send your right arm through the space between your left wrist and your left knee, placing your right shoulder down on the mat. And placing your left hand by your face or out in front of you. Or if you want to open up your heart space, wrap your left arm around your back body, placing your fingertips in the crease of your right hip flexor. Square the hips by sending your hips to the right. So you feel more opening in your shoulder. Placing your palm facing up towards the sky. You can play around with the weight of your torso to really find the ultimate position for you to really open up the shoulder blade, whatever resonates with your body. Place your left hand to frame the face, and on an inhale, reach your right arm back up to the sky, opening up the chest to the right side of the room. And go ahead and do some arm circles in one direction. And reverse the direction, circling a few more times. Placing your right hand down next to your left hand. And now we'll swap out the left hand for the right hand. And an inhale, reach your left arm up to the sky, peeling open to the left side of the room. Exhale, gently brush your left arm down to the mat. And reach your left arm all the way back up to the sky, stay here. Inhale, lengthen your crown to the front of the room. And exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Take an inhale, and on an exhale, thread the needle. Send your left arm through to the right side of the room, planting your left shoulder blade on your mat with your left hand facing up. Placing your right hand by your face out in front of you, or if you did a bind on the other side, you can do a bind here, wrapping your right arm across your back body. Sending your hips over to the left, square the hips. Breathing to every sensation that arrives for you. Place your right hand to frame the face, and inhale the left arm all the way back up to reset the spine. Go ahead and do some arm circles, reaching front all the way back, and reversing the direction, back to front. Placing your left hand to meet the right hand. Now bring your hands a little bit more in front of you. Your shoulders aren't going to stack over your wrists here. And I want you to send your hip points forward, as if you're about to lower down onto your mat. So bring your hip points forward. So now your shoulders are stacked over your wrists. And then start to lower down by bending your elbows close to your body and come onto your belly. Flowing baby cobra. Place your hands right under your shoulders with your thumb in the middle of your chest. And on an inhale, open your chest up to the front of the room, only using your back muscles. Your legs are still engaged, but laying down on the mat with your tops of your feet pressing into the mat. Little or no weight in those hands. Exhale, bring your forehead down to the mat. Inhale, open your chest to the front of the room. Really feel the muscles activate in the backside body. Squeeze those glutes, squeeze those quads. Exhale, bring your forehead down to the mat. Inhale, open your chest to the front of the room. Stay lifted. You can play around with the weight of your hands. That changes where you're activating your back muscles. And exhale, slowly lower your forehead down to the mat. We'll come into full cobra here. On an inhale, open your chest to the front of the room, press into your hands, extend the arms. Your hip flexors are still on the mat because we're not in upward facing dog, we're in cobra. So only the upper body's lifted, but we still want to engage the lower half of our body, keeping our shoulders down and away from the ears. And exhale, bring your forehead down to the mat. Push back and up into child's pose. Stacking shoulders over wrists back in tabletop. Tuck your toes beneath you. And on an exhale, send your hips up and back for your first downward facing dog. Extend the legs straight. Press the earth away from you so that your torso is aiming towards the tops of your thighs and your hips are up to the earth. Trying to keep your heels down onto the mat. You can even bend the knees deeper if you have lower back pain or if you have tight hamstrings. And over time, you can work to straighten the legs. Keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears. Really breathe space right below the neck and the shoulder blade where they meet. Drop your triceps down to the earth. And you do that by screwing the top of a jar but on your mat. And you'll see if you move your right hand energetically to the right, your elbow would automatically point down towards the mat below. Let your head and neck hang heavy. And walk your hands slowly back to your feet, coming towards the back of your mat. And separate your feet, hip width distance or wider, coming into ragdoll, bending your knees deeply. You can really let loose your head and your neck and your spine from staying upright by really letting the gravity bring your torso onto your thighs. You can grab onto either elbow, rock side to side. Or you can find stillness and work to straighten the legs and bring weight into your toes to open up the hamstrings. Release your hands and walk your hands back into downward facing dog. Bringing your feet into hip width distance apart and your hands at shoulder width distance apart. And on an inhale, lift your heels up to the earth. Up to the sky, and slowly lower your heels down onto the mat. Feeling the stretch in our arches. Inhale, come onto your tippy toes. Exhale, slowly melt your heels down to the earth. One more, inhale, lift your heels. Stay lifted, bend your knees.
Eye gaze comes in between your hands, and on an exhale, step, walk, or jump in between your hands to the front of the mat. Inhale, hands come to your shins, straighten your spine, lengthen your neck forward. Bear weight in your toes. And exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Aim to bring your nose to your knees. You can have a slight bend in your knees, releasing your hands by your feet, keeping your flat spine and your belly on top of your thighs. And on an inhale, root to rise, arms come all the way up for our sun A. Look at your hands, bring your palms together, bring your hip points forward, give yourself a slight mini back bend, bringing your eye gaze to the front and all the way as back as you can without any strain. On an exhale, come back to center, take an inhale. Exhale, forward fold, bring your hands at heart center. Lead with the chest with a flat spine on the way down. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down. Move through your flow or step into your downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal out the heels. Working out the calf muscles. And we're going to do another sun A. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Flat spine, lengthen your neck forward. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge at the hips, bring your belly to your knees. Inhale, root to rise, arms come all the way up overhead, palms come together. And exhale, forward fold. Flat spine on the way down, leading with the chest, releasing your hands by your feet and letting your head and neck hang heavy. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down and step into your downward facing dog. We're going to now work into our sun Bs. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, flat spine. Lengthen your neck forward, eye gaze straight down. Exhale, forward fold, flat spine on the way down. Inhale, root to rise, arms come all the way up overhead. Do not put your palms together this time. Pinkies face in towards each other. And sit your hips down and back into chair pose. Reaching your tailbone down to the earth beneath you. You don't want a curvature in your back. You really want to send your tailbone down, squeezing those abs. Pinkies facing in to activate the arm muscles. Look down beneath your knees and make sure your toes are still visible. If not, bear weight more into your heels and sit your hips down and back. As you sit your hips down and back, open your chest to the front of the room. Exhale, sit a little bit lower. Bring your palms together. And forward fold, straight spine on the way down. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down. Move through your flow or meet us in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right heel, toes point towards the mat. Your heel points up towards the ceiling. Square the hips. Really press into that right leg and pull that heel towards the back wall behind you. Really activate those glutes. And on an exhale, hug your right knee into plank pose. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists in cat pose. Really squeezing that right knee up to your abs. Warrior one, step your right foot in between your hands. Keep your right knee over your right ankle. And straighten your left leg and plant your left heel down. Angling your left toes to the top left corner of your mat. You may have to step the left foot a little bit out more to stagger your feet instead of being on one straight line. Inhale your arms up overhead, biceps to ears, pinkies face in towards each other. Keep that right knee bent over that right ankle with your right toes pointing straight ahead. We want to keep our hips squared to the front of the room. We have closed hips here. So as if we're scissoring our legs. We don't want to keep them open. So we are going to send our right hip point back and our left hip point forward. You'll see that if I do that, it's squared right to the front of the room. Inhale your arms up overhead.
And on an exhale, peel the arms open to the left for warrior two. And you'll see how my foot changes. So your left back of your foot matches the left edge of your mat. So it's going to be parallel. Your right heel is going to intersect the left arch. Right toes are pointing straight ahead, keeping your shoulders stacked over your hips, open to the left side of the room. We don't want to keep our hip point up. We want to send it down. Belly up and in, arms out at our sides, stretching our fingers in opposite and equal directions. Then you can go ahead and move your chin right to your right shoulder with your eye gaze at your index finger. Energetically pull your heels together to really activate your leg muscles. Belly up and in, and lengthen through the crown of your head all the way up. Flip your front palm, peaceful warrior. Inhale your right arm all the way up and back with your left hand gently placing down behind your left leg. Keep your right knee bent over that right ankle. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down to bring the right foot and step into your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Flex the left toes down towards the mat and the heel up towards the sky. Exhale, warrior one, hugging the left knee into your chest and plank. And exhale, stepping your foot in between your hands. Plant that right heel down, angling your toes to the top right corner of your mat with your right foot, keeping your left toes pointing straight ahead. Inhale your arms up overhead, lengthening up and out of the waist. Send your left hip point back, your right hip point forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, peel open to the right. Warrior two. Left heel intersects the right arch. Keep that hip point forward. And your tailbone down. Reaching your arms in opposite and equal directions. Eye gaze at your index finger. Inhale, your palm up and back. Peaceful warrior. Sit your hips a little bit down. And on an exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame the left foot and step into your downward facing dog. We'll take a cleansing breath here. Take the deepest inhale of the day through your nose, filling up your belly, filling up your chest as deep as you can. Hold at the top for 2 moments. Wide open mouth, exhale it out. Return to your normal breaths in and out through your nose. Come down onto your knees. Sitting your tush on the backs of your heels, or if this is uncomfortable for you, you can come onto your sit bones and cross your legs like a pretzel. I'll face towards you for some stretches in the neck to help us throughout the day. Bring your chin towards your chest. Feel the flexion in the back of your neck. Shoulders down away from the ears. Eye gaze comes back up. And bring your chin a little bit up as you bring your eye gaze towards the back wall. Don't crunch the back of the neck. Always breathe length here. Come back to center. Reach your right ear to your right shoulder. You can extend the left arm and feel how every muscle is connected from your fingertips all the way to the left side of the neck. Come back to center. Bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Extend the right arm out by your side. You can even do some wrist circles. Wiggle your fingers. And you'll see the forearm all the way up to your neck. Muscles interconnect. Come back to center and go ahead and roll out the neck, whatever feels good for you. Making sure with every motion it's slow and controlled. If you're not on your sit bones already, you can come ahead and sit down. Flex the toes towards your face, extend the legs out in front of you.
And slowly round and squeeze your abdominals as every inch of your spine hits the earth beneath you. Inhale your arms up overhead for a full body stretch, stretching from your fingertips to the tips of your toes. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest, grabbing onto either elbows or just the tops of your shins. Rock side to side to massage the spine. And we're going to come into our happy baby. To wrap this up, or if you have any other last pose that you need to incorporate, go for it. If you want to do some inversions, do bridge, which is anything lifting your hips higher than your heart. Even if it's legs against the imaginary wall with your heels facing up towards the sky. But for all you beginners, just come into happy baby. Grabbing onto the outside of your feet or the inside of your feet, keeping your tailbone on the earth beneath you. Flat spine on your mat, pressing your feet into your hands, hands into your feet. If your feet aren't accessible to you, you can place your hands on the tops of your shins. Feeling a stretch in both hip flexors. If you want to work into the hamstrings, you could bend the right leg and extend the left leg, and vice versa. Release your legs down in front of you. Take as much or as little space as you want to slow down the breath and for that nice flow. Focusing on your breath. Breathing space between your eyebrows. Releasing any expression that you may have. Releasing tension in the jaw by slightly parting the mouth and letting the tongue float in the hollow of the mouth. Palms facing up for receiving, palms facing down for more grounding. Closing your eyes, remembering those dedications and intentions that helped you throughout the entire practice. Breathing in nothing but positivity, light, and love to help us feel good throughout the day. Keeping ourselves feel grounded and ourselves. Taking this next couple minutes in silence by ourselves to fully surrender our mind and our body for Savasana. And when we're done, I'll lead you out. Start to bring movement back into the body. Wiggle toes, wiggle fingers. Wrap your head side to side. Inhale your arms up overhead for a full body stretch, stretching from your fingertips to the tips of your toes.
And on an exhale, hug your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice tight squeeze. And rocking over to one side, still in this nice tight hug, letting your curves hit the earth. When you're ready, come up to a seated position with your palms at heart center, palms facing together, and bowing in. Taking this time to really support all of our dedications and intentions that helped us throughout our practice today. Thank you so much for letting me guide your practice today. It's my honor and duty to help ease the mind and connect each breath with each movement to help keep you in the present moment and find yourself in this happiness. Namaste. Thank you all for joining us, and I'll see you next week. Bye.